Hello, everyone. Welcome to Opinions New by Dr. Frank Ph.D. I'm Frank. In this episode, let's talk about the Chinese Communist Party's extortion and racketeering amid the pandemic. Okay. Let's imagine if you can find the largest insider trading scandal in the United States, right? Multiply that by 10 and add state-sponsored extortion. What do you get? That is what the Chinese Communist regime is currently doing across the globe. Okay? As the countries, nations of the world struggle to manage their sick and dying and contain the spread of a deadly virus, right? The CCP has promptly jumped into a profit plus propaganda mode. Okay? A key part of the strategy was to corner the market on protective equipment needed to combat a coronavirus outbreak. Okay. During the months of January and February, the Chinese regime mobilized regime-backed organizations, okay, Chinese companies, and a host of expat Chinese around the world to buy up local medical supplies and ship them back to China. According to Epoch Times, the efforts resulted in more than 2 billion medical masks, half of the world's supplies, being purchased outside of China and shipped back to China. Okay. According to an Australian newspaper, the Sydney Morning Herald, okay, the buy-up operation hoarded, right, I quote, bulk supplies of surgical masks, thermometers, antibacterial wipes, hand sanitizers, gloves, and Panadol from around the world. Okay. Over the past weeks, numerous videos have emerged on Chinese language social media of Chinese people around the world, from Los Angeles to Zurich, buying in medical supplies from local pharmacies, medical supply stores, and even local paint shops. Okay. The supplies were boxed up and shipped to China. Okay. China is already the largest manufacturer of the types of medical supplies needed to prevent the spread of coronavirus by far. Right? In January, they began halting exports of these supplies overseas. Okay? Therefore, this global buy-up effort augmented what is already the largest stockpile of medical supplies in the world. By the end of February, every other country in the world was left empty-handed and wholly unprepared to face the coming pandemic that we have seen. Okay. Then in March, almost on cue, the CCP unleashed a global campaign to win influence and propaganda points by quote unquote delivering those medical supplies to countries in need. Each delivery was, of course, accompanied by much Chinese flag waving and coordinated media events to tout China's helping hand around the world. Okay? Mostly touted as donations by the CCP. They're not. Most medical supplies were sold to those countries. Okay? Furthermore, the supplies often exhibited high rates of failure, okay, resulting in a quality control problem of the very worst kind. Okay? The Czech Republic, for example, paid the CCP cash for delivery of 150,000 portable quick COVID-19 virus test kits, but later discovered that 80% of the kits did not work. Okay? On March 25th, Spain announced a similar problem. They had purchased over 500 million in medical supplies from China, but returned more than 9,000 kits as substandard after they exhibited a reliability rate of only 30%. Okay? A similar story unfolded in Ireland, which paid China more than 200 million euros for medical supplies. Okay. In France, the Chinese regime's deal for medical supplies carried with the shocking quid pro quo. According to a U.S. representative, House of Representative member Mark Green, in a recent meeting between French President Emmanuel Macron and the Chinese Communist leader Xi Jinping, Macron requested 1 billion masks to help stem the spread of the virus in France. Right? Xi replied in that he would provide the masks to France if France agreed to allow CCP-controlled Huawei technology to install France's 5G network, okay? Paving the way for the CCP to essentially control the data networks for France for decades to come. Okay? So similar deals are allegedly being weighted by the Netherlands and other European countries. Okay? In other words, Xi is saying that he would allow more French people to die for a lack of masks if French leadership does not give him some control over France's information highway. Okay? So let's be clear about this. Okay? I'm be clear about what's happening here. Back in January, under understanding the reach and the lethality of the coming pandemic, the CCP hid that information, right? Lied to the world, right? And hoarded the world's medical supplies that they needed for the other countries to prevent the spread and treat the spread of deadly virus, coronavirus. And then the CCP launched the global campaign to use these supplies to make money and demand influence and control over the globe. As Gordon Chan, writer and the China expert, put it, China creates the problem, and actually China creates the poison and sells the solution to it. Okay? In business terms, these are extortions and racketeering, and they're illegal. So the world could either let the CCP's extortion and racketeering continue until we all are bankrupt, or we can do something now to bankrupt the CCP. Okay. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.